Okay, I want to ask universe, okay. Now I know what the dark is and what the dark is not. Dark is just an absence of light. It doesn't have the power that people want to ascribe to it. There was not, a God and then dark. Okay, God is primary essence. But people ascribe so much more power to dark than it actually has. So I'm going to ask the universe to come in as well and see what can be given to assuage people's ideas about dark and that it has so much power, okay? Because people continue to fear these elements. Oh, dark is ignorant. Look at Bobert, wontons, killings. Look at Marjorie Trader Greene, the gazpacho police. Okay, it's basic ignorance. We look at ones like 45, okay, ignorance. Wants to believe their own drama and their own ego, and aggrandizements. And maybe he could be slick in looking for loopholes and looking for ways to abuse the system. But in the end, it's ignorant, okay? Because we can see that even in 45's case, continues to convict himself out of his own mouth. His ego has gotten so big that he admits to his crimes out of his own mouth. So we see them projecting, etc. We have to look at what's being radiated, okay? Now, when we have those, they want to radiate a victory, okay? They want to manifest out of their darkness a victory. But what do they really have? Okay? They're in darkness. They're shrouded. They're shrouded. But they always want to be bluffing, bully, egotistical, narcissistic, that toxicity that's there when they continue. And what they are continuing to put out there is fantasy. It doesn't have a basis in reality. Yeah, it's from the pages of the book. The focus is on fantasy. Okay? It's not based in reality. They see it from an overturned view, upside down. Okay? And they're hung up there. That's what happens with it. They are hung up, upside down. And they've invited what? They've invited the darkness. They've invited the rabbit, the illusion, delusion, in order to gain power. Okay? Because why? Because they're unhappy. They don't come from a place of knowing. They don't come from a place of balance. They don't come from a place of integrity. They don't come from a place of being centered and grounded. They are come from a place of emotional unhappiness, dissatisfaction, lack. lack. Okay. So we look at this darkness because they always want something for the future. Okay. It's never enough. They don't know how to ride the waves. They don't know how to, because they're always looking for some new opportunity, some path forward, to have more, to get more, to be more. But no matter what they have, it's never enough. Okay? They're surrounded in mystery. Okay? And that mystery is always non-understanding. Okay? It's because when the mystery is revealed, that's what the path is about. You see, it's like the great joke. It's when when one completes their journey and one dismantles into the divine is and the mystery is revealed, one sees that there is this grand, how can I say it? This overwhelming presence of peace at the center, stability, peace. All of that is there. And this great mystery is you could not be separated from it if you tried. Now the darkness wants to try to separate from the light. Okay, it bemoans its existence because it wants to be what? Separate. And that is the telling of the story of Satan or the devil or demonic, etc. It's one that rails against the light. It wants to, what happened? Satan was what? Satan was not created as evil. Okay? It was not on the same power as God is. Okay? Satan was an angel, and what happened? He was the head of the heavenly choir, music. Okay? He was the leader of music, but he wanted what? He wanted all of the glory for himself. He fell into ego. It's the same thing if you read the Chandipat, the Hindu text called Chandipat, about Kali. And Kali, what? It was fighting the demons with love, prayer, all of these things, the tools that she was using to fight these demons. And the last demon and the most powerful demon was what? Ego. So ego creates all of these demonic nonsense of these perversions of the light. Okay? So the biggest one is ego. And it's the same thing in the Bible talks about Satan fell. He took 1/3 of the angels with him when he fell into ego of wanting this separation. Also, we have the story of what? Adam and Eve. They were in the garden. They were what? They were with God, spoke with God, and they were innocent. They were innocent. And so what did they want? God said you can have all the trees here, but not the tree of knowledge. Not that tree. Okay? Wasn't anything, I don't know why they show it as an apple. Apples are not bad. But it was, they wanted what? They wanted knowledge. Okay? So that was what caused the fall. They had innocence. They had everything there in the Garden of Eden. But what? They wanted knowledge. They wanted experience. They wanted to know good from evil. All they had at that point was good, but they wanted to know what is evil, what is this separation, what is knowledge, what is this? And so they had what was termed the fall. And the fall was what? Into corporeal bodies. Now, it used to be that the lifespan was much, much further and deeper, 500 years. But then he limited the form, limited the lifespan, so that they could have this experience of good versus evil. Okay, the separation. What is the separation? And so the form was limited so that they were not caught in this for a long term. Because what we experience here in this plane of existence can be so destructive, so difficult. Okay? So you don't know what you got till it's gone. Kind of like that story, pave paradise, put up a parking lot. We get rid of paradise and we exchange it for, this thing that you find eventually has no value. Okay? So it's the same thing. It's about falling into ego, into dissatisfaction, into these dramas which hold no water in the end. They are vacuous. They are empty holes which will never be filled. If one is in that mindset of ego, and I'm going to do it for myself, and I'm going to, I want the glory. Now, how many people get the glory, but then it's lackluster? We have people that are put on pedestals that are in entertainment or in sports. They make a ton of money. People are idolizing them, putting on pedestals, and they are so unhappy. They are so miserable. So everything they thought they wanted, they find out in the end it's empty. It's empty. Okay? And they have exchanged this stability that they could have had for this empty hole of dissatisfaction. Okay? How many ones do you see that are wealthy and they become very perverted? We have ones like Koch brothers. We have ones, very, very wealthy that want to control, dominate, etc. Again, looking at this, you see how absolutely delusional it is and how it holds no power. So you need to again investigate, look deeper at the shadow. Okay? That's all it is a shadow. How much substance does a shadow have? Now, people can be fearful of shadows, etc. This dark and oh my God. Okay? But it's like Christ says, fear not. It's a shadow. It really doesn't have any more substance than what you give it. People have these fears of that type of thing, but really in the end, there is nothing to fear because it is transitory, and the God or the genuine substance of the universe is eternal. You can either have joy or in this mental spin of unhappiness, okay, which can affect the heart. If you've got so much mental spin of always the shadows and the crying and the drama, you can ruin your health, etc. Or you can see the joy. Now, I like that. Look at that. They have the little beams of light and they're just enjoying okay, they're enjoying life rather than in fear mode, in feelings of lack, in feelings of this destructiveness, these holes, you find out either you're whole, W-H-O-L-E, or you are a H-O-L-E that will never be filled. Okay, so that's part of the journey, coming here, and experiencing all of these things. It's about transformation. Okay, we are here to transform through experience, the long term, okay, for the long term benefit. So this dark that people have so much fear of, it's a shadow substance in the end. It's transient, okay? It's transient. Whereas the divine is the whole. It's the 0 point balance, the beginning, the end, okay? It carries all of existence, but within itself, it's kind of like, okay, it's like the 0. The 0 within itself, they say it's empty in nature. But you have 1, and you add a 0, and what happens to it? It expands it tenfold. You add another 0, or you bring in that part of this divine existence, and it expands it even further into 100, 1,000, 1,000,000. You just keep expanding. Whereas the 0, and it starts with what? 1, the concrete. And then you have this expansion of the 0, which adds to everything. But yet within itself, in this plane of existence, one does not see it concretely, but it's there. It's there, 100%. It is what holds existence in place. It's what creates existence, okay? And so people come in, and it's like tarot. I hear people say that, oh, the most powerful one in the deck is the magician. No, it's not, because the magician is what? Smoke, mirrors, okay? It's not reality. It's wanting to exchange things. It's wanting to be able to make these vast changes in, but magicians are what? They're not actually making changes. They are, again, pulling on something deceptive, smoke and mirrors, okay? They're befooling others and maybe befooling themselves sometimes. So, again, this darkness, it's shadow. Darkness starts with a premise of light somewhere. But then what happens to it, the way I've always seen it here, that the universe has explained it, is you have something that starts with a seed of light, but the shadow keeps skewing it and pulling it away from the light, which gives it meaning and gives it power, gives it substance into some shadow. So it's losing its power the further it pulls away from light. The actual power is being lost. It's like we had Hitler, okay? Now he thought he was powerful. He took the swastika, which was showing the flow of the universe in the right methodology. It meant all things of benefit. Well, he reversed it, okay, and thought he would gain power from it by reversing it, going against the flow, through ego, okay, through deception, through this thing of dominance. But what happened in the end? It was defeated. And then you find out that he was what? A failed a failed little man. It was not this great, thing that he wanted to project to the world. He was a failed little man. Okay? Driven by drama. He was a drug abuser. Okay? And a failed little man. It was like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look at the man behind the screen, and all this drama that put out, and was able to confuse people for a time and caused great destruction for a time. But in the end, it's revealed that he was a failed little man that wanted to take the things of swastik, which is beneficial, and turn it into swastika, which was a dark perversion of light. But again, when you reverse something and you turn it into a perversion, it actually loses power. It loses power in the end. Okay? So we have the eternal. And while, yes, it was horrible, the things that people went through, whether they were Jewish, gay, gypsies, all of them. Now we only know mainly about Jewish, his hatred of Jewish, and he wanted to try to project all this drama onto Jewish, but it was also gays and it was also gypsies that he wanted to delete off the earth, okay, because of his failed ideology of this supremacy. Again, and we see the same thing going on now with the white supremacists and the same drama, okay, of egotism that is failed within itself, and it tries to abduct power, okay, but because it has no power in itself. So this is what is the dark. It's about, again, wanting to be separate, wanting to control, wanting to have that glory, wanting to, and it's finding out in the end that it's failed. It's a failed thing. Now those that were murdered during that time, life is eternal. We're here for a short time. And then when you leave the physicality of form, you go into the eternality, okay? You go to the place of those with like consciousness. So those that have an elevated consciousness will go with those of an elevated consciousness. Those that want to perpetrate these dark things of egotism and perversion of power, and light, perversion of light, they go with others of that same consciousness, which becomes a, quote unquote, if you will, a hell realm, because they are in that dark mindset. And so they can't elevate any higher than that. So they are there by their own actions. It is not that God is up there with this thing, judging them. They are judged by their own hearts and minds. It says that's what gets judged. Their actions and the reasons behind their actions. You are judged by your own heart and mind. It's not that there is somebody up there on a throne, with a club waiting to beat you. No, It's by your own consciousness. That's where you go, okay? So, again, people want to fear this dark and fear this, that it's powerful and this and that. Well, it's not really, okay? If you understand that things start, and it's like the yin-yang also. You have one half of it's light, one half that's dark, but in the light, there's a seed of darkness, and the darkness is a seed of light, which you can learn from, okay? You can go through that dark experience, but you find a seed of light. You find out that that dark experience was not beneficial. And there's always a seed of light that you can grab to. Or you can have this experience of light, but then you gravitate to some seed of darkness. Okay. Now, the way I explain it is you have a man that's poor. He wins a lottery. Then he becomes corrupted. So was that a beneficial thing? Okay. Or you have the man of wealth. He loses everything he has. He was corrupted. When he loses everything and falls hard, he starts looking for light. So, which way was the benefit? Which way? One fell really hard and then started looking for light, came out of the corruption, and the other one started out in a good place, but then became corrupted because he held to that seed of dark. So which was beneficial and which one was not? Okay. So on that note, I'm going to leave this here. I don't know why all this stuff is coming up today, but it is. I just go with the flow of the universe. If it brings that in to be talked about today, then that's what I do. Okay. So I don't know why all this stuff is coming up now. Apparently we're getting ready for another shift of some sort, because a lot of this is coming out today and has been coming out, and it's become more and more prevalent for these things to be spoken about and put out to the populace. So on that note, I'm going to leave this here, and I'll see you online.